volatility for Ghana. That's took the Ghanaian cedi to get a bit stronger on the US dollar. Despite the fact that the stock market softened a bit in Accra, Eurobond was also priced better. Ghana's Eurobond was priced better. So that's quite some news for you. Of course, the IMF is holding a press briefing at about 2:30 GMT today to provide further details on how soon Ghana will get the first tranche of about $600 million of that fund. That's big news. We just got to let you know that. Today's in the Cox Today show. But the Nigerian stock market up 0.31% today. The banking sector was up by 1.0%. The insurance sector added about 0.5%. Consumer goods was better by 1% as well on the back of gains made by Nigerian breweries, the largest brewer listed on the market. We saw gains in some of the banks, Zenith Bank, and of course, JITCO as well as FBN Holdings. So that's the market, Nigerian market at the 0.31% Wednesday, 0.36% on Tuesday, started the week about 6 basis points. So it looks like things are getting a little bit warmer on the stock exchange. The BRVM down by 0.25% to 195.98. The Egyptian stock market continued that decline since Sunday, down 1.12% on Wednesday. Today is the third is a final trading day of the week in Cairo, the EGX30, holding it below the 17,000 level. The Nairobi stock market came back just at the doorstep of 199.98, reading on the composite 3.26% better on Wednesday. And we could see the 100 index reading that was lost last week back before the end of the week. We've got 2 sessions left today and tomorrow. Then the GSE up by 0.42%. The industrials and the resources indices of the largest exchange on the continent were finished in the green. Big names in resources helped the GSE up to at 78,303. That's the all share index. The rand, however, fell on the US dollar to 19.25, just about 0.8% downside on the American greenback. Those are your markets. Look back for Wednesday. Let's move on to the big headlines from East Africa. As always, started on the East Coast with the big stories with London-based Vodafone looking to sell its M-Pesa to Safaricom, while Kenya's civil servants will get about 17.7 billion shillings pay increase in the new budget from the start of the month of July. That's part of what President William Ruto is throwing on the street for the civil servants. Standard Chartered of Kenya reporting first quarter January to March profit of 46% to about 4 billion shillings, while Kenya locks out milk powder again out of Uganda. It's a trade a spat between the two big neighbors. By the way, they've got to resolve this once again. And Tanzania is looking at the DR Congo with the cargo clearance deal. The whole East Central Africa with the DR Congo, now part of the East African community, is one big playground for investment, trade, as well as logistics. Let's look into West Africa. Talk about Ghana's big story. That's the biggest story everyone is looking at. The press briefing at 2:30 GMT today, straight out of Washington by the IMF, is what everyone is looking at. President Nana Akufo-Addo yesterday got the news that the IMF board approved $3 billion bailout is going to be deployed in tranches. So that's one good news that Ghana can use. The currency has been recovering since the month of March, and the stock market also taking some step forward as inflation began to decelerate over the past few months since the start of the year in one of West Africa's biggest economies. That's one big news everyone is looking at today. And what will this mean, the latest $3 billion bailout, mean for Ghana in resolving its debt situation with its creditors? And African central bankers are going to decide interest rates in the main starting from Friday. So we've got to see a number of interest rate decisions by the central banks. Nigeria and Ghana, according to Bloomberg, are likely to raise hike as we see inflation tempering in a number of African countries. But with the latest IMF bailout, let's see how the Bank of Ghana will decide. There are indications that the BOG will lift its key interest rate at 29.5% when it meets in the next couple of days. Aura Group, full year 2022 says its earnings were way down by subsidiaries in Chad, Mali, as well as Mauritania in Western Sahara. And finally, BRVM listed BICICI, which is an investment and commercial and industrial banking company in Cote d'Ivoire, listed on the BRVM, says its profit grew 29.03% for its full year 2022. Let's well see what's the big news across the board in Southern Africa with the whole Zambia, Zimbabwe debt talk still there. But the Russia and the load shedding in South Africa is hitting demand for South African bonds. South Africa will have to deal with a whole lot of issues right now. Telkom shares, in which the South African government is a substantial shareholder, fell about 30% minutes after the company says it's going to have assets write down of roughly 13 billion rand. And Zimbabwe yesterday decided, the central bank decided to devalue its currency. The FX auction was where the news came through, as we saw about 14% devaluation in the rate of Zimbabwean dollar against the US dollar. That's at about 1,404 to the US dollar. And Zimbabwe is therefore pledging key reforms to ease debt burden and end 21 years of sanctions. That came out of its fourth structured debt dialogue platform, which was held earlier in the week. So let's sum it all up in North Africa with some of the biggest economies coming through with news with the EBRD, which is European Bank for Development and Reconstruction and Development, holding its annual general meeting in Uzbekistan. That AGM revealed a few details with EBRD looking at Egypt's real GDP growth at about 4% for the country's 2022-2023 period. The EBRD is also forecasting Morocco's GDP to reach pre-pandemic levels with 3.2% for next year. EBRD has strong foothold in terms of investments and project support for a number of countries more in North Africa. In Egypt, Al Baraka Bank is also set to obtain $30 million from the ICD to finance green projects in Egypt, while the OCP Group, the industrial giant in Morocco, says it acquires 60% of the Spanish company Global Feed SL. And that will enable it to increase the capacity of animal nutrition and other agro-allied products that this particular company produces. OCP is listed, one of the big industries listed on the stock market in Casablanca. And that's your Frontier Opening Bell this Thursday. Have a great day, everyone. Go online, watch the show again. You can subscribe to our shows on Frontier Africa Reports on YouTube. It's free, and we'd like to hear from you across all our social media. Thank you, and bye for now.